Hey guys, it's Alex Law here for LowKick MMA. Today I'm being joined by Natan Levy, coming off a huge win at the Contender Series that saw him walk away with the UFC contract. Natan, how's it going, my friend?
Hi, how's it going? It's pronounced Natan.
Natan, I'm so sorry.
No problem, no problem. It's
Congrats on your win. You're now officially a UFC fighter. How's it feel?
wow, it's crazy. You know, I'm really excited. I'm not like I'm trying to keep my feet on the ground because really for me, being a UFC fighter, it's a big goal. It's something absolutely huge. But my goal is to be, a contender in the UFC and not just make it. So for me, the hard work really starts now. So whatever gear I was on, I got to go up.
Right. So your fight against Shaheen Santana, just a dominant performance by you. Can you kind of talk us through the fight and kind of what you saw with him going into it?
Yeah, so Shane's really good on the ground. I saw also some videos of him striking, and it was pretty good too. But all his fights were finished by submissions. I definitely respected his ground game. I've been working a lot on like more efficient ground and pound, like more aggressive, standing up inside the guard and throwing like harder shots. But really, for this fight, the game plan was not to do that and to kind of slow cook him through the first round, put the weight on him. I wasn't planning on it going to the ground. I assumed he'd want to take it down, and I was ready for it. But it could have gone standing as well. But on the ground, I knew one thing for sure: I got to be, I got to preserve my energy and keep my elbows tight and not giving anything. And I knew he was going to start throwing triangles, body locks, arm locks, everything. And I was just going to lay on him, let him get tired, cook him, and second round, third round, uh, finish him. And that was the plan. Like lay it on him, start throwing the heavier shots, and just give him hell.
Cool. And for that finish, a beautiful arm triangle. You set it up really slick, kind of stepping over into the mount and kind of putting pressure down. I saw in your last fight against Ben Lugo, you kind of went for the same thing. Is that one of your go-to moves?
Uh, you were cut off a little bit. You mean
The finish, how you kind of stepped into the mount and finished with that arm triangle?
ah really the arm triangle? It's like a syndicate style. So it's from the half guard where people think they're safe. They're really not. I felt him go limp. I was sure he was out when I was in the half guard. The only reason I passed to mount was because if he's not out, and I'm not going to keep squeezing forever if he's not going out. I'm going to let go at
Right.
some point. And I wanted to make sure that when I let go, I'm on top of him in mount and not still in half guard. So I heard him like kind of maybe try and say tap and go limp, but I was still thinking ahead. If he's not out, if he's just like relaxing or something, take the mount, let go of the choke, and start, uh, putting down some heavy punches on him.
Nice. And in terms of, how the fight went, did anything kind of surprise you, or is this kind of how you imagined it would go out?
It's very hard to imagine how a fight is going to go,
Right.
but pretty as close as possible to what I would imagine, like him trying to play guard, me staying in his half guard, punishing slowly, cooking him, like I said, and finishing him in the later rounds. Um, and same thing, after he was cooked, I wanted to, take him out on the feet, but he shot again, and I had an easy reversal, a gift wrapped, so I took it.
Nice, nice. So going into the fight, the Contender Series, it's got a reputation of like the world's toughest job interview. Does that kind of add another layer of stress going into it?
Yeah, it did. Um, I was more nervous than other fights. I'm never going crazy, but I was definitely more nervous than other fights. But at the same time, I know that everybody who tries to do something great, you're always going to have nerves. I remember when I was a kid and I was just trying to get like a raise working at the local theater, just asking for that raise, for that, step up. I was so stressed. I was so nervous. And I know some people probably go to work and feel that amount of nerves uh, just from doing stuff like singing on a stage or just asking for a raise or whatever it is. And of course, when you do something really great, when you try and change the world, when you're trying to, do something big, you're always going to feel nerves. So when I feel nerves, I know I'm doing something big, and that's how I'm supposed to feel.
Nice. And so your whole pro career before this has been fighting LFA, obviously kind of considered the big feeder league for the UFC. It's streamed on Fight Pass. Did having that experience fighting on that big of a stage going in kind of help with that?
Yeah, no doubt. The production, of course, the UFC is a higher production level, but I fought like some amateur fights on very local shows,
Right.
and then stepped it up to like bigger amateur promotions, and with 19,000 people watching in the arena.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to pro fights in LFA. I felt pretty comfortable in there. Like I said, there were nerves, but once we were in the cage, I knew it was him locked with me and not the other way around. And I felt like pretty comfortable. I felt at home. I didn't feel like I was out of my element inside something that's too big for me. Pretty much felt like something I had already done 9 times before, which is getting in the cage and fight.
Awesome. So also kind of in preparation for this fight, this has been your second fight you've had since the COVID-19 lockdown. Obviously, things have changed since then. How does kind of your training and your preparation differ from than it would have, say, 8 months ago?
From 8 months ago, not that different. February, is it? March? Yeah, March started the lockdown.
Right.
So then everything changed. All the gyms closed. And me and some friends, we were just training like savages in the park, like carrying each other on our backs, squatting, running stairs, just doing everything we can to get stronger without the gym. And it was really a good period for me. Kind of, invest more into like my physical fitness. I was always an athlete, but like not as much into like conditioning, and that stepped up in my game. And now the gyms are back open, but I kept some of that with me, and I feel good, and I think 2020 is not so bad after all, because somebody got COVID and I got a fight on Contenders, so it kind of played off well.
Nice. So coming into this fight, you were already booked for a fight, and then this fight was kind of, I guess, a short notice. So how much did you kind of get to know about Shaheen going into this fight, if any at all?
Not much. I watched him one fight on Fight Pass, and that's it. One.
Oh, well, so when it's, that short notice, do you try to change the game plan, or do you just kind of stick with what you were training with beforehand?
Yeah, kind of what I was. The thing is, I was going to fight Machida as a student.
Oh, wow.
And we have a fighter at Syndicate. His name is Ali Omar, and he was my main sparring partner. And he was perfect, except for a couple of things. He was like too big, a little like, too big. I mean, like bigger than my potential opponent.
Right.
Like a little longer, taller, and too strong. Like, heavier shots, way harder kicks, and just like hard to wrestle with. But he was the best look we had, so we did all the sparring with him. And lo and behold, I ended up fighting a guy that's longer, taller, stronger, and somewhat similar style of striking, and also like hard to grapple with. So it all played off perfect.
Cool. So now that's kind of all done with, you're in the UFC. How soon do you want to get back in there?
As soon as possible. I'm gonna rest, recover for a week or two, just as much as my body need. I'm not like trying to get away from training. I'm actually trying to get back on the mats as soon as possible. And now I'm gonna fight at 55, so I can make the weight real fast. And I just want to be ready in case somebody else gets COVID.
So yeah, I was going to ask, you said after the fight, you kind of feel like 55 is your home now. Is that a permanent thing, or would you take a fight at 145 if you like the opponent?
I would take a fight at 145, but it'd have to be like a fight that I really want, and that
Right.
I'm willing to cut the weight for, and I'm willing to pay the price for, because there is a price.
So, I mean, you just said kind of opponent you really want. Is there a type of fighter you're looking for, or a type of level? Do you have any names in mind?
Like the guy I was gonna fight, Bruno Souza. He's Machida's protege, so that was a fight I was very interested in. And I was thinking of going up to 55 anyway, but that fight I really wanted. So we could meet in the future. Maybe he wins one or two more fights. I think he'll be in the UFC. So we could meet. I would cut the weight for it. But it's hard. But now that I have the UFC PI to help me, I think it would be a little easier. But still, it would only have to be a fight I really want.
All right. So, I mean, what are kind of your goals going into next year and beyond? How quickly do you want to kind of advance up the ratings? I mean, I know you're 29 now. You're kind of what most people consider in the prime, but you only
Yeah.
have the 6 fights to your name. Do you kind of want to build yourself up? Do you want to jump right in there?
I think I've done a good job, like my coaches and I, of building me up. And of course, I'm not gonna jump and fight a top 5 UFC fighter tomorrow who has 30 pro fights. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to work your way up, and it's also a good thing because you work your way up. You also strengthen yourself on that way and improve yourself on that way. I did start a little late with fighting, so I left Israel at 22. I had 0 ground. All I knew was karate. So it took me a while to get my first AMI fight. I started at 24, first pro fight at 26. And now 3 years into my pro career, I have 6 fights, an average of 2 fights a year. That's not that great.
Right.
I'd love to kick up that average this year. I'd love to take at least 4 fights. And especially if I leave the fights and I'm feeling good and healthy, there's no reason for me to fight again soon. Like, I'm down to fight.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for sitting down with us. No matter what's next for you, I wish you all the best of luck. You're definitely someone to keep an eye on. And until next time, be safe and be well.
Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks.